Hello, my name is Mark and I thank you so much for coming by today. Recently a viewer asked about the bag that I have, the kit that I have, that I hold my paintbrushes in, and whether or not I had a video on that. And I actually do not. I don't have a video on what I keep my brushes in, and I really have never talked too much about the brushes I use. And that's what I figured I'd talk about today. Some of the brushes that I use and why I use them. And if you're curious about what a professional illustrator might use for paintbrushes, or even an enthusiast or hobbyist might carry along with them in their case, that's what this conversation's about today. So what you see here, this is a canvas rollout bag, and this is what I used to use all the time. This is not the bag that the person was inquiring about, but it is what I used to use, and that's why I'm showing you this first, because this was a great little bag to take with me when I was doing road trips or just, you know, going out and about and I wanted to paint. This was a great little kit to have, and I really liked it because this is what I thought you were supposed to use. Most of my career and most of my life, I thought you had to have something to roll up and keep your stuff in, but I learned that that's not necessarily the case. So this is a traditional canvas rollout bag. You can see it lays out the brushes nicely. Even my tallest brush here, this ESCODA here, is, I love this brush so much. It's such a great brush. But even this one fits nice and snug in here. It's a very tall brush. This is the set that basically stays at home, and this is my swap out set. Now, what I mean by that is, this is the brush set that, like these black tulip brushes from ZENART, and these even these silver, what do they call these? Silver black velvet brushes here, which I love all these brushes for different reasons, but these are my swap out brushes. So if I have a set that I'm going to use for a specific project, I'll swap them out in here and put the ones from the other case in here and put these into the other case. Some of these are just too big, like this ESCODA is just too big to put in my other kit, so I generally don't take it with me. But you can see here, there's other stuff in here as well. I've got a water brush over here. I've got a pipette for water just to take with me. I've got a white colored pencil. I've got a mechanical pencil, and I always carry a 2B pencil with me. I love 2B pencils. I have no use for anything much softer like a 4B, and I don't really like harder pencils like a 2H. They're just, I don't have any need for them. The 2B does everything I need it to do. This little mechanical pencil has an eraser on the end, so that's pretty much it. The only thing in here that I really don't use is this palette knife. I don't know why that's in here, but I like it. It's a good little palette knife. I got my mop brush, I got fan brush, I got everything I need here. And again, these are my swap out brushes. I love all these brushes for various reasons. You could take one of these expensive brushes like this ISABEY, it's a natural hair brush, and place it right next to this cheapo that I got probably in a pack. You know, this is like a dollar store kind of brush. And I really love this brush. It's actually really has done me well over the years. And you can see it's pretty beat up and I still love it. And that sits right beside this one here, which this is a Princeton brush, which is sort of a, I don't know, this is kind of a student grade, mid-student grade brush, but again, it works really well. And you put that alongside some of these more inexpensive brushes, and then you put it next to some of these other great brushes, and it's like, this is a great collection here. So this is on its own just a nice little set to have. But again, this is not my go-to set. I like the canvas roll-up, but it has some flaws, which is like the open end here. I don't like, because this is supposed to fold over, but because of the taller brushes, I can't fold it over. And it's canvas, so if it gets wet, or God forbid I spill anything on it, it will soak it up, and it can damage the brushes if it's not attended to. So if something, you know, were to spill on this and just sit for days, it could ruin the brushes. So that's the case that I used to use. Now, the case that I currently use is this one here. This is an ETCHR Labs field kit, and it is a companion to the ETCHR Labs satchel that they sell. And this is a great product on its own. I did a review of the ultimate bags, that the art bags that I use. I did that a while ago. I'll put the link for that video down below if you're interested in that ultimate bag review. This was not, I don't think I covered this particular product in that review, and I didn't want to do a review of this today. That's not what this is about. I'm not paid to do this as a review. I'm just showing you what I use every day, And what I take with me when I travel or when I just go for a drive and I want to go someplace and paint outside, this is the case that I take with me. And again, I swap out from that canvas bag with this one. Why do I love this case so much? Well, originally this was going to be a bag or a kit for just going out and sketching. I was going to keep a sketchbook in here, some multi-liner, Copic multi-liner pens, and maybe some Micron pens, some colored pencils. I had everything all set up in here, but it was so bulky. It was really like, it was like this thick instead of this thick. So it was really bulky and it was uncomfortable and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy carrying it around and lugging it around. It was just too big. So I kind of shelved it for a while and said, you know what, I'm not really going to use that. So what do you do with it? But then one day I just needed a kit that I could put brushes in and keep them safe where that canvas roll-up bag was not doing the job. So that's when I pulled this out, and you can see here it's just really well designed. ETCHR Labs does a really nice job designing their products and making them just really durable and rugged, and these are going to last a long time, and I know this will because it already is. The outside is like some kind of fabric that's heavily coated, and it's waterproof, and it feels really nice in your hand. It doesn't feel like it's going to slip out, but it's got a nice grip to it. The pocket here, you can see, this is something that I would put maybe my my passport or something in, or maybe some papers or even pens and pencils. It's really tight, so it's snug, but it's also got a rubberized coating on the outside, nicely stitched and really tight to the body of this thing. But what I love is on the inside is this really soft fabric. It's like a jersey material on the inside, and it's really soft and keeps things really safe. Also, what I love is the spine of this. There's no cracking on it. It hasn't broken, and I would expect that, and I did expect that to be a problem later, would be that this would crack and kind of split, and maybe I'd have to put some duct tape or something on here to keep it safe. But I didn't. It's doing great, and it's really nicely put together. These little eye hooks here, these are little sort of, I'm not sure what you call those, but these are for a carrying strap, shoulder strap. So you can just use this and hook these onto these little eye hooks here, these little loops, and you can carry that over your shoulder. I took it off because I never use it. It's not something I would carry around on my shoulder, but if some people like that, then that's a great advantage to have that, just to carry it around on your shoulder. What I do is I attach this by these zipper loops here. These are like a little bungee loops here, and I put a carabiner through here, and then I attach that to my backpack when I travel. So if I'm just putting it in the car, this will sit in the car with my backpack. That holds my sketchbooks, that holds all my other supplies. But this is nice because this just hooks right on, and I don't have to really worry about it. If I were going to use the ETCHR satchel that this is the companion to, that's where these come in, and these are great. So if I take that satchel out to do some, outdoor painting or whatever, this thing has these Velcro straps. They hook right onto the ETCHR satchel straps, and they just work really flawlessly together to keep this thing really secure and really safe with that product too. So this bag is doing great. I really love it. It does everything I need it to do, which is really not much. It just carries my brushes, but it's organized and it's neat and it keeps them safe. And what I love the most about this is these zippers. First of all, most pencil bags I've ever owned only have one zipper. This has two, and I really, really like that. It has these, like I said, these really durable loops on here that if you pull it, it opens right up. And if you can see that, this zippers, when they come apart, they open up really nicely here. You can see the teeth on them. I don't know if you can see that there. The teeth from the zippers, when you pull it apart, are kind of hidden underneath this lip here. And you can see it's pretty much sealed. When you zip this thing up, and I'll show you here, when you zip this up, this thing kind of seals over all the way around, which keeps it even more protected from the environment, from the weather, from dirt and stuff getting in there. And I really, really like that. I appreciate that actually, because that took some thought to put something like that in there, a protective cover over the zipper that almost self-seals. So when I pull these apart, you'll see here, the bag just opens up, that seal breaks and opens up, And it's very easy. I mean, this zipper just works flawlessly, so it doesn't get in the way or impede at all, and I really, really like that. So opening this up, you'll see that this is my brush collection. Let me just open it properly here. And this is what I take with me when I'm on the go. And I think this is what the viewer was referring to when I showed this in the other video. I didn't even think about it. I was just using, you know, my brush holder, and never thought that it might be of interest to somebody else. So I really quickly want to go through just the brushes that I usually use. This is my go-to set, and you know, I'll show you this too. This is what I usually carry in my other supplies. This is a little thing that I made for travel. It doesn't fit in this kit, so I usually have to put it in something else like my backpack or whatever. But I took these little plastic cups that I had for water. I use these for ink too. And I just used some double stick tape here, this foamy tape. I use this stuff all the time, by the way. It's 3M foamy tape, double-sided. And this is a the cover from a jelly jar, which I can show you here. I was using some water the other day. I use these jelly jars. I recycle them as drinking glasses, and this is a glass for my watercolor water. But so you can see here, this is the lid, and I recycle these lids all the time. I really love these things. But these are great because these little cups here, these are my water containers. I just fill these up 4 cups with water, and I take these on the go with me. You can see I have a pipette in here. So I'll get a water source, like either a water bottle or a cup of water wherever I'm going, if I'm at a coffee shop or something. And I'll just take some of that water and I'll fill these up, and that's how I can clean my brushes. And I love this little contraption here, whatever you call it. It's just really neat to have, and it works really well. I do keep it in a Ziploc bag only because if, you know, I don't keep it full of water, but I also don't want to get other things damaged. So I just keep this tucked away in here, and that serves me very well. So that's what I take when I go out, and it just sits on the side, and I have my sketchbook or whatever I'm using for paper, and I just love it. It's great. Now, what I will say is, I will warn you, I'm going to get really excited once I start talking about these brushes, because I love these brushes, and just looking at them and handling them makes me want to just jump right in and start painting something. So it's a warning ahead of time that I really, really love these brushes. So where to start? Let me just start with the larger one. This is an ISABEY 10. This is a natural hair brush. These are all ISABEY brushes here. Whoops. And I really, really love this brand. The only thing I don't like is some of the bristles are starting to come out here, you can see. So what I'll do is I'll take a lighter and I'll just burn those off, very gently burn them off. I like to burn them off because it will seal them down here and keep them from pulling other hairs out. And I just have been doing that for years, and it's something that I've always done with bristles like that. And this one right here really needs it. These could probably be preserved again. I can see that I've preserved them. There's a little bit of dust coming off, but this is the Masters brush cleaner, and you've probably seen this before. But just use this and preserve these brushes and bring them back to a point again. They don't hold too well, even preserved. They're natural brushes, and I've used them a lot, so they're starting to show their wear. But I do love these brushes like crazy. They're wonderful brushes. And looking at more of these, I will look at these ones here. These are beautiful. These are the RAPHAELs. And you can see I've got a flat brush, little flat brush here, and then this tapered one here. And this is probably the brush I use the most. I just go to this one all the time. So these are the RAPHAEL Kaerell brushes. These are they're synthetic, and they feel like, this feels like a natural brush. It's just wonderful. And these flat brushes, I don't use a lot of flat brushes, but when I need to do some kind of a square or a tight line, I guess, I will use flat brushes. These are great for just getting into small areas and so forth. But as you can see, I've got other brushes for that too. So I do like the flat brushes for certain things. Like I said, I don't use them a lot, but I mean, I do use them. But I do love the Raphael brushes as well. They're really high quality. There's a lot of just bounce to these. You can see it's just very bouncy brushes, and I love that. So that bounce just means it holds water and just will come back to its shape, and I really enjoy using these. So those are great brushes to have as well. The ones that get the most attention here are my angled brushes. One of these is a Princeton brush, and the other one, I don't know what exactly this is. I think it's like a Master's Touch brush or something. These weren't terribly expensive, but these are so highly valuable to me. I use these all the time, especially on smaller illustrations where I'm doing fine details, or if I'm using gouache on watercolor to put in some highlights or details. These are really great brushes. Why an angled brush? What is the point of it? Well, when you're painting high details and you want to see what you're doing, you don't want your brush blocking your view. So if this was the tip of the brush, you don't want your brush blocking the view. This thing allows you to go in at an angle and still have full control. And this same thing with this one, you can just have full control over both brushes, you know, because of that angle. And I just been using these for years, and I love them, and I wouldn't part with these for the life of me. But I wouldn't recommend these for everybody. They're not something everybody should use, but I do love those brushes, and I do use them quite often. This here is my mop brush. This is an ISABEY. This is I believe it's a squirrel brush. It's a natural hair. I don't buy natural hair brushes anymore. I think once I became aware, you know, years ago it was customary to buy hair brushes because that was what you bought. Those were the best. And this is a pretty expensive brush, and I bought it a while back, and I use it pretty much when I'm doing larger pieces or just need a large coverage area. But I don't buy natural brushes anymore because the synthetic choices out there are just so great. It's like, why not just use those? So this stays with me because I did buy it and I'm going to keep using it. But it does remind me that I don't really like to buy natural hair brushes anymore. In the center here, I have a mini water brush. It's a mini Pentel water brush. This thing is terrific when I don't want to get, you know, the cups out and get the water out. I just take this with me, and I can just, you know, it's a small tip on there, and I can just do a quick watercolor, and it's a lot of fun to have in the kit here. So I do enjoy that. My 2B pencil, again, I love my 2B pencil. I keep a white gel pen and a white colored pencil in here. Down tucked in, I'll show you these real quick. This is an eraser brush, and you can see in here there's a pencil sharpener and an eraser that I keep in my kit with me. I just like having those with me because it's a lot easier than having a dull pencil. But this is a great little pencil sharpener. It's self-enclosed. All the shavings stay inside, and then you can just dispose of them later. This comes apart. So I really enjoy that. 2 different size holes there for different size pencils and so forth. We will look at these next. These are my DAVINCI travel brushes. These are Pure Kolinsky brushes, and I'll show you this one. This is the larger one. And these are just amazing brushes to use. I love these brushes. And they're small enough, but they're big enough in the ferrule area here that when I hold it, it really just feels comfortable. And this is a smaller one. This is number 3. But these are great because I can just take these out of this kit and just grab these on the go and just bring these 2 brushes with me. And there's a little pinhole there so the brushes will dry, and you just always have to be careful putting these back in and screwing them together. But these are really nice brushes. Again, some of these brushes are not cheap, so I do recommend you think about your purchases, obviously, before you make a big purchase on a brush that you don't know about. These are the WINDSOR NEWTON Professional watercolor SABLE brushes. These are really nice brushes too. I've used these a ton, and you can see they're starting to show their wear now, but these are really nice brushes. These are probably my favorite. I just use these all the time. These are LOEW Cornell. They're not very expensive, and that's the surprising thing. They're synthetic brushes, but this one particularly is one of my favorite brushes. Both the feel of it and just the way that this thing works, it just works the way I work, and I love this brush. The smaller one, same thing. It's just, they're both just wonderful brushes to use. These good looking brushes here are the ESCODA brushes. These are the Versatiles. Again, same thing. I just love these brushes because they work the way I work. They're gorgeous to look at. That finish is just wonderful. I love that finish. But I had a bunch more of these, and I think I lost them or something, or I'm not sure what happened to them. But these are really wonderful brushes. I just use these all the time. I mean, I go back and forth between brushes, but those are just another pair of go-to brushes. Let's see. These are the DAVINCI COSMOTOP. And what I love about these is they have a flat edge on the body, but they're beautiful color. I love that color. And again, you can see these aren't too far off from the other brushes that I use and just their size and so forth. So, I mean, clearly this is a size that I use a lot of. And if I need a thicker one or a bigger brush, I go to something else. But these CosmoTops, they just work really, really well. These have been preserved, so that one's a little bit firm, but this one here is very soft. But these are firm, soft bristles, so they have a nice bounce, and I know when I put color on them, it's gonna just, I can work with that really easily. So that's another set of favorites there. And like I said, I'm getting really excited just handling these brushes because it makes me wanna just jump into a painting. These are Grumbacher. If you don't know the company, they are historically known for making paintbrushes, but these are the golden edge brushes. I really, really love these as well. These are a little bit more bouncy, but you can see how firm when those come back. See the dust coming off? I gotta wash these again. These are just really firm brushes, and they do exactly what I want them to do. I use a lot of round brushes, and that's sort of what I'm a fan of. Speaking of fans, these are my fan brushes. They're not very expensive. These one's a LOEW Cornell, and this is an Artist Loft. These are great little brushes. This one is super, super soft, and I can get some really nice effects with this. I don't use these a ton, but it's nice to have in the kit just in case I want to use them. The small one is actually a lot better because I can get some smaller effects. This is good when you're trying to paint like organic paintings, or you want some like tall grass or something, or just even to move some paint around in a way that's different from other brushes. So this can create some nice effects, and it also is a great spattering brush. If you put some color on here and you spatter with it, you just tap it on your finger, it will just disperse the spatter in a way that other brushes don't. So this is a great brush for a bunch of variety of different effects. Let's see what else. So going through, these are, this one here, this is, I believe it's a Princeton. This is, I think I showed you one of these in the other kit, so I have two of these. Really fine detail brush, I really like that. It's not unlike the angled brush. It's very similar in size, a little bit smaller, but really nice little brush to use. This is another one of those cheapo brushes. I don't know what this one is. There's a name on it, but I can't read it. It's an old brush that I've had forever, and I just absolutely love it. It just works the way I like to work, and it's a great brush to keep in my set. These two here are larger body brushes. They are really comfortable to hold, which I like that, especially because there's such fine tips on these. And let me move this down so you can see these tips a little bit. Now, this one here on the right is a 0, and the one on the left here, this one, is a 20 times 0. What does that mean? It means that they're really, really fine bristles, and I couldn't find a brush like this for the life of me. And one day I saw these in the store, and these are just Princeton brushes, so they're not terribly expensive, but I saw these in the store and I thought, geez, I'll give these a try, and these have been great. When I need really, really fine lines, almost like marker thin, like a fine point kind of a marker, these are my go-tos, and I really enjoy these. I don't use them a ton because they don't pick up a lot of water, but they pick up what I need. So if I'm doing any kind of cross-hatching or just light, very linear kind of almost drawing with these brushes, that's what I use these for, and these are great. These are the Cotman, WINDSOR NEWTON Cotman brushes. I love this little rigger. It's a nice brush. When you use it, it's sort of one of those things where you're doing some gentle work, but this one sort of collapses quickly, and that's not what I want from this. I want this to be a little firmer. The ZENART rigger is a lot firmer and a lot tougher, and I like that. However, these smaller ones, this is a great brush right here, and it's got a nice soft reaction. It's got a good bounce to it, and again, it's much like some of these other brushes, you know, like this Cosmotop here. Similar in size, similar in function. The Cosmotop's a little firmer, which I like, so there's a little bit of a difference. So sometimes you just need that little bit of a difference to get what you want. And again, this is a smaller, thinner brush. Very nice for doing thin lines, a little thicker than those Princeton brushes I showed you. Now, the other things I want to show you is very quickly up top here. I keep paper towel swatches in here. So when I'm on the go, I have some paper towels so I can dab my brushes off. And I always keep those in here. And over here in the zippered area, again, this is that nice fabric. This is really rugged, stretchy. These bands are stretchy here, so you can fit stuff in there and keep fitting stuff in there. But on this side, this pocket, I keep little swatch cards of, this is Arch's hot press watercolor paper. And I just cut out some squares and I keep them in there, so when I'm out and about and I want to just paint and I don't feel like thinking about it too much and grabbing a sketchbook, I can just grab some of these cards that I keep in here and just kind of doodle and just have some fun. And that's pretty much it. So this is the kit itself. You can see there's some good stuff in here. And this has been really good to me. And I really, really enjoy this field kit a lot. Again, it's expensive. It's $70 for this thing. So I don't recommend it as a frugal purchase. If you think you're going to use it, maybe consider it. But boy, I use it all the time, and I'm glad I made the decision to get it. So that's one of those good things. But you can see that all these brushes, all these brushes go into that field kit, and they come with me when I go on vacation, when I go on a trip, or when I'm working and I like to go in a coffee shop or something. So all these brushes make sense to me, and I really love every single one of these for a different reason. And these are the brushes that I use consistently. So whether it's for professional illustration, whether it's for a commission piece, or whether it's just for my own amusement and my own entertainment and my own education, these are the brushes that I go to time and time again. So I hope this was informative. I hope it was entertaining. I know it was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but I hope you enjoyed it. These are the brushes that I like. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you use for brushes and how you carry your brush setup around, like what kind of kit you use, or if you use a canvas roll or even a paper bag. I would love to hear what you do, and you can share that with me down below as well. Thank you so much for coming by today and taking your time to watch. I'm grateful for your time. Stay well, stay healthy. I'm doing good on my end. I hope you're doing good on your end. And as always, God bless and take care. Thanks again.